All right, we're going over chapter 3, lesson 1. Please pay attention and write the notes down because it's an easy grade. All right, first thing we're covering is parallel and skew lines. Parallel lines, they are coplanar. What does coplanar mean?
On the same plane.
Good, on the same plane, coplanar lines that do not intersect. Okay, parallel lines will never intersect. No matter how far you draw them, they cannot intersect. Skew lines or non-coplanar lines. Okay, so we have parallel lines which are coplanar. Skew lines which are not on the same plane. Okay, they're non-coplanar lines that neither parallel nor intersecting. Okay, so you will see an example of skew lines when we get to one of the examples at the bottom. We should know what parallel lines are, and kind of skew is kind of something new that we're going to be learning. But you will see an example, I think in example number 2. All right, parallel planes. We should know what a plane is. Planes that do not intersect. Okay, parallel planes are planes that do not intersect. So you have to remember how to name a plane. So if you forgot, please make a note of this, write it somewhere. When you're naming a plane, you use 3 or more letters to name it. Okay, highlight that to make sure you know it. If you name it with just 2 letters, you're not naming a plane. You're naming more of a line or a segment. Okay, so you have to have 3 or more to name a plane. So looking at this image, 3. If they're telling you like in the corner plane W, then I could use that, but for these it's not. Okay, so looking at this, can someone give me a plane? Can someone tell me a plane? So we're going to do an example of parallel planes. Well, there's no plane P here. There's no P. All right, let me write it. Okay, example. So I need 3 letters. 3 letters for a plane. All right, AG, I'm going to put AGF. Okay, I just like to get in the habit of just follow the lines. Okay, so I can't go across. So I'm going to do AGF. I could name it AGF, or I could name it ADFG, okay, as long as it's 3 or more. Okay, this right here is parallel to which side? To which plane? I'm going to have to name another plane. Parallel.
BCE.
BCE, good. Okay, these are parallel. Oops. And BCE, again, I could name it HECB, and it's the same thing. Okay, please don't forget, you can rearrange the letters. Okay, I could rearrange the letters, and it still works for the plane. We are covering postulates because there will be some proofs. Most likely on your test, if there is, it'll probably just be 1. Okay, and it will be like on the previous test, multiple choice proof.
Like the algebraic proof?
If you wrote, no, it'll be multiple choice like the geometric proof. You won't have to write it out. It'll be optional. Right, parallel postulate. Please pay attention to these because they're both very similar. If there is a line and a point not on the line, then there is exactly 1 line through the point. All right, so I'm going to draw it out and highlight it. There is a line. Okay, so in blue, I'm going to draw my line. There is a line. And a point not on the line. Here's my point. And a point not on the line. Then there is exactly one line through the point parallel to the given line. So I'm going to draw what that is. I'm going to do it in green. Remember, when you have a point, there are infinite amount of lines going through my point. So I'm going to draw that. Here's a point. Here are all the lines going through that point. An infinite amount of lines. Never ends. What this is telling me is there is exactly one line that makes these two parallel. So here is that one line. Does everybody understand that? Out of all those infinite lines, there is one that could be parallel to the line that was given. Okay, just so you know. That's parallel postulate. Perpendicular postulate is similar, okay? If there is a line and a point not on the line, so similar concept, here is my line. Here is my point not on the line. Then there is exactly one line through the point perpendicular to the given line. So that means out of all those infinite lines, there is one that makes a perpendicular line. They're very similar, but because there is exactly one, they're telling me there's exactly one line, out of all the infinite lines, there's going to be one that makes it perpendicular. All right, questions, comments, concerns so far? All right, transversals. Transversals really have to do with vocabulary. They can get confusing, but it's really easy if you study these. All right, transversal. A line that intersects two or more coplanar lines in different points. All right, so let's look at it. We're going to name which line this is. So it's a line that intersects, okay? Intersects two or more coplanar lines. So can someone tell me what line this is? Yes. Go quick. All right, can someone tell me what line this would be? What would my transversal be? It is line M. Okay, good. I'm going to make a note of that. This right now is line M. Okay. It's cutting two coplanar lines. So I'm going to highlight where my two coplanar lines are, where it's cutting it. Right here. So that's my line M, which is my transversal. All right, interior angles, exterior angles. Can someone tell me what the word interior means? Just on the inside, and what about exterior? On the outside. So I know I have something that's on the inside. Okay, this is my inside angles. And then the rest will be my outside angles. So can someone tell me one inside angle?
3.
All right, please make sure you're writing that angle symbol. Angle 3. Angle 3. What's another one? Angle 5. What's another one? Angle 4 and one more. Angle 6. Those are my interior angles. Yeah. All right, looking at the next one, what are my exterior angles? Who could give me one of my exterior angles?
1.
Angle 1, what's another one?
2.
Angle 2 and two more.
7 and 8.
Good. Angle 7 and angle 8. Please make sure you're putting your angle signs because at this point it will be wrong. All right, questions on interior and exterior angles and what a transversal is? All right, for transversals, I also need you guys to know that it can be written or it can be drawn in a different direction, and I'm going to draw it just so when you see it, you're not confused on it. So it can also be drawn in a different direction. All right, so what that means is looking at the one that's given, you could also see a transversal that's drawn this way. Okay, so you'll see it both ways. You'll see it both ways, and you'll also still see that these are still your interior. Okay, and then the blues will be your exterior. So just make a note of that. All right, special angles. There's alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles. We know what interior means. We know what exterior means. Now it's just a matter of what does the alternate mean. So when I'm looking at alternate interior angles, it's two non-adjacent. What does adjacent mean? Good. So they're not next to each other. Two non-adjacent interior angles on opposite sides of the transversal. All right, let's go ahead and find our alternate interior angles. So alternate means not adjacent, and we're doing interior angles. So we should know what the interior angles are. We just have to find them on opposite sides. So can someone give me a pair of alternate interior angles? Remember, these are pairs, so I have to have two. Who could give me a pair of alternate interior angles? Yes. Not 4 and 6.
3
All right, Carabella. Not 3 and 4.
7 and 8?
3 and 6.
3 and 6. Okay. Yes, 3 and 4 are on different sides. But they're not adjacent. They can't be next to each other. Okay, so that's key. It can't be 3 and 4. It can't be 5 and 6. So it has to be 3 and 6. Remember, this is asking for interior. So I shouldn't be looking at my 1 and my 2 or my 7 and 8. I shouldn't be looking at that for interior. So I'm going to have angle 3 and angle 6. And then I need one more pair. What's my other pair of alternate interior?
5 and 4.
5 and 4 or 4 and 5? Doesn't matter how you write it. All right, alternate exterior angles, same thing. Two exterior angles. So now I'm looking at exterior angles. On opposite sides of the transversal. So similar. So you could tell me 2 of them. 1 and 8, good. Angle 1 and angle 8. Please make sure you're putting your angle signs. Again, it will be wrong if it's not there. And then what's my other pair? Good, angle 2 and angle 7. All right, questions on alternate? All right. All right, we still have some more angles, special angles. Please do not know this as same side interior. You could know it's the same side, yes, but consecutive interior is the correct name. So on your test, on your quiz, you'll have to name it as consecutive angles, okay? Consecutive interior angles. So looking at consecutive interior angles, 2 interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Two interior angles on the same side of the transversal. So naming this, again, we're looking at interior. Can someone tell me a pair, raising our hands, of consecutive interior angles? James?
3 and 4.
3 and 4, good. And then who could tell me another pair? Yes. 5 and 6. All right. Corresponding angles, this one's going to have 4 pairs. So it's 2 angles in the corresponding positions relative to the 2 lines. Okay. So they have to be in the same position relative to the 2 lines. So here are my 2 lines, right here and right here. I'm looking for the angles that are in the same position. So can someone give me one pair? 1 and 5 is 1. I'm going to highlight them too so you can see them. So I'm going to have 1 and 5. Angle 1 and angle 5. Who could tell me another pair? Somebody else?
2 and 8.
2 and 8. Not 2 and 8 because they're not in the same position.
2 and 6.
2 and 6. So angle 2 and angle 6. So here's 2. Here's 6. You could tell me another one.
3 and 7.
3 and 7. Angle 3 and angle 7, and there's one more.
4 and 8.
What is it?
4 and 8.
4 and 8. So here's 4 and 8. Angle 4 and angle 8. All right, questions on these two? If you want, just highlight so you know that this is supposed to be consecutive interior. All right, example 1. They want us to classify as true or false. Okay, if it's false, we'll kind of give an example. So looking at A, it says a transversal intersects only parallel lines. False. Okay, we've been looking at transversals not on parallel lines, but in your quiz they will be parallel. So this is false. Oops. Skew lines are not coplanar. True. So skew, just so you know, means not intersecting. And looking at the next example, I'll show you skew. If 2 lines are coplanar, so think about this one. If 2 lines are coplanar, what does coplanar mean? Okay, so if 2 lines are on the same plane, then they are parallel. False. Are they always parallel? No, so this is false. So think of my slideshow, my little slide, as a plane. Looking at these 2 lines, they're not parallel, so I just proved it false. If 2 lines are parallel, then exactly one plane contains them. True or false? Think about it. If 2 lines are parallel, then exactly one plane contains them. So draw 2 parallel lines. Are they on one plane? Yes or no? Yes, this is true. Okay, again, think of this paper or your slideshow or the iPad as a plane. I'm drawing two parallel lines. Are they on one plane? Yes, this is true.
But can it be like this?
Yeah, if I want to draw one plane here and name this plane W, it's on one plane.
No, like this. Like this is one plane on this is.
If they're not representing it by two planes, I would say it's on one plane.
Uh-huh.
All right, questions on these? Okay. All right, looking at example 2, I'm going to zoom in. I'm using these with the image. So it says, the first one, the directions say, think of each segment in the figure as part of a line. Which lines, or planes appear to fit the description? So A says line or lines parallel to CD and containing point A. Who could tell me what my solution would be?
Line AB.
AB would be the only one. Okay, parallel that contains A would have to be line AB. Please make sure you are drawing your arrows. If you're not drawing your arrows, it would be wrong. All right, looking at B, this is when we're using that word skew. Lines skew to CD and containing point A. Who could tell me what those line or lines would be? There's actually two for this one. Not DA, because that's intersecting. Remember, skew does not intersect. So it cannot be on the same plane. GA would be one. Okay, it's not on the same plane and it's not going to intersect. So I have AG, and there's one more. Remember, can intersect and cannot be on the same plane.
AE.
Not AE, because there's nothing connecting AE.
Oh, AH.
AH would have to be it. All right, looking at C, line or lines perpendicular to CD and containing point A. Perpendicular means what? Intersecting at what kind of degree?
90.
Good, a 90-degree angle. So what line would that have to be?
AD.
Good, AD, that's my only option. And then looking at D, plane or planes parallel to EFG and contain point A. So we covered parallel planes at the beginning. Who could give me a plane that is parallel to EFG and contains A? DCB would be one. I could name it as, I could name it as ABC, ABCD, okay, as long as it has 3 or more. All right, last slide, example 3, we're going to name the angles. So it is drawn different than what we were looking at the top. Remember, we still have interior and we still have exterior, still the same. So A, can someone give me one pair of alternate interior angles? Alternate interior angles. 2 and 7 is one. And what's another pair? 6 and 3. All right, who can give me a pair of consecutive interior angles? Consecutive interior angles. What was that? 2 and 3, good. And what's another pair? Good, angle 6 and angle 7. All right, corresponding, there's 4. Corresponding angles, who could give me one? Good. Angle 1 and angle 3. Who could give me another? Good. Angle 5 and angle 7. All right, there's 2 more. Who could give me one? Good. Angle 4 and angle 2, and the last one? Good. 6 and angle 8. All right, and the last thing, alternate exterior angles. 1 and 8. And there's one more.
5 and 4.
Good. Angle 5 and angle 4. Any questions? No, that's it for 3-1.